Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365, and today I'm going to review the 4K edition of Guillermo del Toro's Pan's Labyrinth. Channel, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I put out videos every single day. You can also find me over Twitter and Instagram at MovieGuy365, as well as over at the Disney Magic Hour podcast. I will leave a link for that in the description. Okay, Pan's Labyrinth here, the 4K edition, full of the HDR. Really want to talk about this release because I do have some mixed feelings about it, but ease your fears, it does look fantastic, but I'm going to really dive into the concerns I have and just the overall impressions of the disc in just a few moments. But as far as the movie itself goes, I feel it is one of his better films. It is the most atmospheric. It tells a fantastic story. It puts a great spin on like the modern fairy tale and our impressions, and just a darker spin overall. It is a great movie. I think it is a must-have in any library. If you are a fan of Guillermo del Toro, you probably already own this in some form. But before we do anything else, let's dive in, take a quick look at the unboxing, and we'll come back and talk about the audio and the picture. Okay, so we have the basic art here for Pan's Labyrinth. Looks really good here. You know, just nice artwork featuring the fawn. So, and on the back side here, now we've got good art. We've got, you know, the proper information here. But now if you look at the red fine print, which you won't be able to see unfortunately in this video, it does mention that you may not be able to redeem this digital code in 4K. That was obviously a concern, but after hearing some people have success, yes, you have a 4K setup, you should have no problem redeeming this in 4K. You just go into Movies Anywhere, redeem it like you normally would, and it will redeem in 4K. And I believe it does have a Dolby Vision grading on the digital version. This one only supports HDR10. So we're going to open that up, and then it's very basic, nothing to write home about. And there's our cover, which is the exact same. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about the picture quality and the audio. Okay, so this is, as I mentioned, going to be kind of a slightly different take on how I feel about the disc. Now, let me just alleviate any fears. It looks fantastic. HDR, this is an inherently dark movie, so HDR really deepens those black levels. It really shows off those colors as far as HDR pop goes. This is a very kind of morose kind of image. It just looks, it's just very drab overall, but I feel that HDR does its job, and it does it very well. There's a great amount of detail. As I mentioned, black levels are prominent in this film. It's a lot of dark scenes, and they take very good, you know, use out of that. Color-wise, it's used very sparingly, but it does pop out when it does. It looks fantastic overall. Now, let me just talk a little bit about the previous releases. Now, this was also, and this is going to dive a little bit into my audio review. Now, when we comparatively, like if you look at something I have here, which is the Criterion Edition of the Blu Ray. Now, this one was personally supervised by Guillermo del Toro, not so much with the 4K edition here released by the studio. Now, Criterion is very, you know, kind of like the avant-garde, so they like to work closely with their directors, supervise their transfers. So I can't help but wonder what a Guillermo del Toro supervised edition of Pan's Labyrinth would look like in 4K. Sometimes directors do get more directly involved with these home releases. I don't believe he was so much in this version, but he definitely had his hands all over the 4K or the Criterion edition of this movie. Now, does that really change anything? I don't know. It kind of makes me feel that we're missing out on possibly an even greater version of this movie. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but that's kind of my impression. It doesn't necessarily take away from my enjoyment of the picture quality and so forth, but you know, it's just something you have to kind of think about. Now, comparing also the audio in this is a very good 5.1 track. Now, the standard Blu Ray edition also included a 7.1 track, so I'm kind of wondering why that was not personally included in this version. I know they didn't have the transfer 4K edition for the Criterion. Who knows, we may even see that one day. But the audio wise, if they're kind of porting everything over and doing a whole thing, you know, as far as that goes, I have to wonder why that 7.1 wasn't included. That's not to say the 5.1 is a slouch or anything. It actually does, it's very atmospheric, There's a bit of heft to it. There's a bit of boom. You know, this does take place in a bit of a war setting. There's gunfights and that sort of thing. So you do get a lot going on here as far as audio. But it's just another one of those things, is like why they did not put over the 7.1. Now, as far as the Criterion goes, that was also a 5.1 release. So I'm going to give the audio a bit of a pass, because I think if Guillermo del Toro supervised the Criterion Edition and only included a 5.1, that must have been what he intended. So as far as audio goes, I'm okay with just like leaving out the 7.1 if that's really what the preference was by the director. Otherwise, you know, it's a fantastic disc. It really is. There's a lot going on. Immersion, LFE, everything here is very easy to understand. It's very clean, just clear, very good dynamics overall. So my feelings about the disc in general, it's a very good, but I just can't help but be nagged a little bit that we didn't get the director's involvement with this release. That would have been so nice. I would have been very curious what that would have entailed. But I think for my purposes, if you have the Criterion, I would say yes. If you're a 4K fan, definitely upgrade. I think it is a nice image. It should be seen in HDR. The digital version, I believe, sports a Dolby Vision grading, and as I talked about with the unboxing, it should redeem in 4K, no problem. Mine did. It was very, you know, easy, no problems there. So let me know in the comments below if you picked up Pan's Labyrinth in 4K and what were your thoughts. And if you own the Criterion, I'm very curious to hear what your thoughts about that are as well. So let me know in the comments, and in the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I put out videos every single day. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.